Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the PG Podcast, where we're doing the James Bond retrospective. And today's episode will be about the Living Daylight. That's that's the that's that's the correct one, right? Living Daylight.
Uh, uh, Plural. Living daylights.
Living Daylights. See, I gotta make sure I get my Bond analogy correct here. My Bond titles. All right, so this is the first Bond film featuring our boy Timothy Dalton. The last film was Roger Moore's last entry, last stint as James Bond, and now we have a brand new Bond. Now, what do you think of good old Timothy Dalton?
I think Timothy Dalton is one of the best parts of this movie. I think the movie itself is very uneven. It's kind of torn between, there's a time where you kind of need to rip up the, tear up the plant by the roots, go right to the foundation. Not like straight up, reboot, but like spiritually just be like, all right, we need a fresh start here.
Right,
And this
right.
would have been the perfect time to do it. And in some ways they did, but in some ways it's definitely got one foot, it's still John Glenn directing, and you can tell. It's still the same producing team, and you can tell. It's just got a meaner, leaner Bond.
Right, right. So you mentioned plot is uneven. So it's funny, right? So I watched this movie, and I knew I had to ask this question. I was like, Zach, I'm gonna need you to help me out here because I don't know. Maybe I have an undiagnosed ADHD going on, but I could not follow this goddamn movie to save my life. Stunts were dope, you know what I mean? Like, some of the action sequences were great, and you could tell that, they're stepping up their sort of, moving into more of the Pierce Brosnan era with the, the way how it looks, where it's shot. Moving away from the 60s era, and now we're getting more modern, as modern could get in the late 80s. But as far as like the plot, I was like, okay, three guys were introduced. I was like, okay, that's the bad guy. Oh, he's not. Oh, that's the bad guy. Oh, he's not. Oh, that's. I was like, oh my god, right? And then when the movie ended, I was like, maybe because I'm used to like Bond films having this big sort of blowout and big, elaborate hideouts from the villains. It just felt like it wasn't like when he faced off with the general. Let me get his name here. Is it
Koskov or the American one?
the American one?
Whitaker.
Whitaker. Yeah. So Joe Don Baker plays Brad Whitaker, the arms dealer. When he faced off with him at the end, I'm thinking, oh, he's like just the second boss to fight before he fights the main boss. Which at the time I'm thinking it's the general, the other Koskov.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe Brad Whitaker's. It's like I couldn't tell who's the main bad guy. That's like how
it's a tricky thing because the movie is one of the few Bond movies that's actually like a spy movie.
yeah.
Because most of them are adventure movies. You got
Right.
the bad guy, you got the good guy, and just watch them go at it for 2 hours.
Right.
And this one, immediately sets up Koskov as a defector, but then kind of like a third of the way through, even less than that, pretty early, Bond figures out that his defection was fake and that he's actually the villain. But he kind of does that in the midst of, exploring Austria with the cello player.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of, it keeps the plot a little bit in the background when I think maybe they could have brought that forward a little bit. And then it kind of just matter-of-factly reveals that Koskov is teamed up with Whitaker. And then they bring in Pushkin. Maybe they should have brought in Pushkin earlier Or, and this isn't entirely the movie's fault, but the
Mm-hmm.
legend goes that Pushkin's role was originally going to be for General Gogol, but the actor was too old to have anything more than a cameo. That he was ill at the time.
Right.
Uh, so he only shows up at the very, very end for a minute.
Mm.
But but Bond is like, oh, I love General Pushkin. Pushkin's the best. I love that guy. And where that's like, I've never seen him before in my life. Um, and maybe if we immediately knew who Pushkin was, that he's would have been General Gogol.
Yeah.
I think the it would have worked a little better. But if you're watching it, for the first time, you're like, Pushkin is a guy who they talk about, but you don't really see him until halfway through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, wait, Pushkin, Koskov, they're both Russian, big bosses, and you kind of conflate them a little bit in your mind.
Right.
But watching it, for what really feels, I think it's only the second time I've seen this movie. Probably my least watched Bond movie. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would, but it definitely is like they could have cut 20 pages from this script because especially that last like 10-minute sequence with Whitaker, you're like, this could have been an email. They could have either arrested him off screen or had him been on the Afghan base and just get blown up,
Yeah, that's what I meant by sort of like it felt almost on James Bond like when it came to like a final set piece. It's like it takes place in a small ass room. I mean, I guess if you in some ways you can look at it as refreshing, but it just felt almost like
like a
really?
really small button at the end of the movie.
Yeah, right. And it just
like we've already had the exploding plane and guys falling out of the plane and the big war sequence,
which was good, by the way.
That was very exciting.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna try to make us be all excited for I love Jodan Baker. He's one of the greats. Buford Pusser, walking tall, but he doesn't stand a chance against Bond.
Right. But you know what that whole Afghanistan sequence reminded me of? No. Jesus. Uncharted 3.
We had trouble at the airport. We'll get to that. Oh, sure. Uncharted 3, hanging out of the airplane with the cargo net.
Yeah, and then sort of them, just like how Nate kind of teams up with the locals there and having to rescue oh my god, what's his name? His buddy, his old guy, Sully, yeah, Sully from like the truck. That whole that was kind of like, it was like I'm wondering if those guys, the Naughty Dog guys, got that from this movie. It was like
totally. Indiana Jones, which is basically American Bond,
Yeah. But yeah, man, this I love the action in it, but I was just like, I couldn't really follow what was happening.
Maybe it's not that complex of a story, but it's told in a very roundabout way.
Yeah. But I guess we can mention some of the other cast members. Well, we have a new Moneypenny. She only showed up for one scene, though.
Anytime you want to listen to my Barry Manilow collection.
Yeah, right. So at least they kept that going, where she's like, have the house for him. I guess the only one that didn't really portray her like that was Naomi Harris. Is that her name? But we'll get to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carolyn Bliss as the new Miss Moneypenny. Funny story, because I was watching the behind the scenes. Now, they didn't state that this happened, but the mere fact that they invited the royals on set, which was at the time Prince Charles and Princess Diana. They were on the set of the whole sequence where they're showing off the new toys, which is in most of the Bond movies. Miss Moneypenny, her the actress, played Diana in a I guess it was a TV movie about the I guess the meeting of Prince Charles and Lady Diana at the time. And I'm wondering if they met each other on set, because that would be like a cool little thing where they're like, oh, I'm, the new Miss Moneypenny, but I also played you in an old movie at the time. So I was like, wondering if that happened. But yeah, they didn't say that it happened, but it's just that the scene takes place in that area. I'm wondering if she was around for that shoot. But I just found that interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we talked a little bit about General Pushkin, played by John Rhys Davies. Wasn't he also in Indiana Jones?
Yeah, Indiana Jones veteran.
Yeah, and of course Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
You have to toss me.
I cannot make the jump. You have to toss me. And the Kuskov, don't know the actor. I've never seen him in any other movie. Jerome Krabe, I think his name is.
He was in The Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren one.
Oh, I've probably only seen that movie one time in my life.
And he was in a notable Miami Vice. He was in a really good episode of Miami Vice.
Okay.
I know him from a couple of other things. And the whole time, there was something about his performance that reminded me of someone or something else, or maybe it's someone I know, or just another performance that I've seen, where I was just like, I recognize this cadence, this vibe, and I hate to say it, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't place it. So at some point, maybe in a future episode, or maybe before the end of this one, I'm just going to be like, I got it. But his performance, which I think is really good,
Right.
I think he does a great job in the movie, but it reminded me of something, but I just can't place it. I'm like, he's like this actor, or like this character, or maybe it's someone else that he played in the past, or in the future yet to come. But like,
yeah,
I really like this performance. Just couldn't nail down what exactly it was about.
Right. And then we have our Bond girl, which shows up pretty early in the movie, and stays throughout the movie. And I guess from the behind the scenes, they wanted to sort of make Bond a one woman guy, even though in the beginning, the cold open, he sort of had a little shindig with the girl who's like, there's no man on this place, and then he just falls out of the sky. But other than that, which didn't really show too much of that, he's just with our one woman the whole thing. What's her name? Like I said,
Olivia D'Abo.
Yes.
Or no.
Oh, Mariam Dow.
Mariam.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know where
plays.
I got Olivia from.
Yeah, so she plays Kara, who is Kuskov's girlfriend, which we never see them together in any of the scenes. So that was just a, show. That's a tell not show scene.
Olivia D'Abo was in Conan the Destroyer. She's a different actress. I don't think they're related.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they are. First cousin once removed. How about that?
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, lots of Conan connections happening because Grace Jones was in Conan as well.
But Mariam D'Abo, she kind of drags this movie down.
Oh, does she?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'll agree, but I like her, but she participates too much, and she's kind of the load. Like there's the sequence when they're escaping the Russian camp in Afghanistan. He's just constantly grabbing her and being like, this way, and she's just like. She's like a child. She's just wandering around. And she's like, wow, look at the desert. And he's like, this way, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Okay, Bond. And he's on the plane, and she's in the truck, and he's like, get back and drive the truck onto the plane. She's like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you mean. He's like, hit the brake and I'm gonna... And she's like, oh, now I get it. Okay. And I'm just like, oh... Like, the movie's long enough. We don't need her doing a Jar Jar thing.
Yeah.
Not that I dislike, the ditzy Bond girls every now and then. Like you know, secretly love Agent Goodnight, um, Man with the Golden Gun,
Right.
and she's way worse
Yeah.
than than poor Kara. Um, but I don't know, so something just didn't zing with me for her on this one. She's pretty though.
Yeah, extremely. So yeah, and then you also have Felix is back, CIA agent. Felix Leiter.
Yeah.
But new actor as well. Is it? I think so, right? It's a new actor.
Yeah. Young guy. I've seen him in stuff, but I don't know. Oh, he played Matthew Fox's dad in Lost.
Oh, right. Yeah, I started watching Lost probably like third season or fourth season. I never went back to do any kind of binge. You know, I was watching it as it goes. So.
Yeah, I haven't watched the whole show, but I feel like I was seeing that character.
Right.
But yeah, Felix, it's interesting because it's definitely got kind of like I was saying before. There's elements in it that feel like a reboot, and elements in it that feel very familiar to like the Bond that we know. And you know, we've got a young Bond and a young Moneypenny and a young Felix. Although Felix doesn't really do anything.
And neither does Moneypenny, other than say, "Hey, check out my collection."
It's a good like introduction to them, but it's almost like. Well, you know, like the movie is more interested in its own plot than in kind of doing a young Bond thing. It's kind of like, which I don't fault them for it, and I would probably want it to be the way that it is, you know. But it's just one of those tricky things where, in the midst of it, they didn't want to reset the whole series. They just wanted a new Bond.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that they've kind of turned back the clock on Bond in that way.
Yeah.
Like if it was Timothy Dalton flirting with Lois Maxwell, we'd be like, oh, Bond has a type.
Exactly. And then so before Tim was cast, this was actually the first time the idea of Pierce Brosnan was thrown. Like for the longest, he was pretty much cast as Bond until I guess the story behind that was, you know, he was on Remington Steele. Either the ratings wasn't good for that first season, or you know they were wrapping up or something like that, and then you know the news got out that he's going to be the next Bond, so. You know, the studio for Remington Steele, or the network was like, oh, this is rating gold. We need to bring him back because he's still contracted. And because of that, you know, he had to skip out on playing Bond. And so Tim, who Cubby Broccoli, I think, was courting for a long time. I think from, I want to say, was it...
For Your Eyes Only?
Yes. Right, but he was like in his early 20s, so it was like, you know, it just feels it's almost crazy. That's why I feel like Henry Cavill should get the role, because it's like a running theme, right? Where Timothy was too young. Yeah, Tim was too young. Pierce, I mean, yes, he almost got it, but he couldn't get it. And then during the Craig era, Cavill was like the second person that they were contemplating, but because he was too young. So if he gets it now, it would be like, oh yeah, that, you know, it was meant to be at some point. But yeah, so Tim finally caved, and well, he was working on this movie called Brenda's Star, which I've never seen.
Me neither.
Yeah, and he couldn't take the role, but because the movie was delayed after like running into casting hiccups, you know, now all of a sudden he was free, and voila.
He had shot his scenes while they were negotiating with Pierce.
Yeah.
I mean, with these not Hollywood in this case, but these movie stories, there's always a million different versions, and the truth is some kind of combination. But you find versions of the story where Cubby Broccoli was like, it's always going to be Timothy Dalton, and then Pierce Brosnan shows up, and they're like, well, I guess we can do Pierce, and then when Timothy and they negotiate, so long with NBC to get him to be on the TV show and do the movies. That by the time it was over, Timothy Dalton was available, so they're just like, "Oh, okay, sorry, Pierce." But then another version is that NBC just wouldn't let him go.
Yeah, because that's the version I heard first. Was that because of the whole phenomenon of him being the next Bond? They thought, oh, this would be a ratings bringer. Like Remington Steele is the new Bond, so let's keep him on, and
right. And I mean, and so they kind of, but I think that wouldn't work unless he actually was Bond.
Was Bond, right?
So it's like I think that's why the negotiations with him went so long.
Yeah.
Because they wanted him to do the movie and the show, but there's only one guy.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do Michael J. Fox levels of cocaine to do Back to the Future and Family Ties at the same time, which is a true cocaine fueled story.
Oh, I've never heard that part of the story, but sure.
Oh yeah, that is very true. I think probably. I mean, he's got a book
allegedly.
coming out. I'm sure he talks about it.
Oh,
yeah, allegedly. Hollywood legend. But so the truth is somewhere in there. But in the end, everybody wins because they both got to do it.
Yeah.
Would it have been cool if they didn't take a 6-year gap between movies? Thankfully, they, between License to Kill and GoldenEye, but we'll get to those. But thankfully, a huge, 5-6 year gap. That's something that will never happen again in the history of Bond.
Yeah. So this was definitely 80, still in the 80s, 87. The film came out June 29th, 1987. It came out June 30th. Not too far off, like the last movie, June 30th in the UK. It came out. It premiered did the London premiere the 29th. Came out the 30th. So it came out first in the UK and then one day later over the US. So kind of reverse. Now the music. Okay, so you have Aha's main theme, Living Daylights, and then you basically got the interpolation of that through the score throughout the entire movie, which is a product of the 80s. I remember watching this movie called Delta Force with Chuck Norris, and it had a theme in it, and the theme played constantly throughout the damn movie. But at the time when I saw it, I loved it, right? That was dope for me. But, as you grow up and realize, you have to have little variations and break it up with, certain things, you kind of go, oh, yeah, that was maybe shouldn't have played it so goddamn much. So, it's funny, they say John Barry is back, but it feels more like a digital score. You know what I mean? It's like the beginning of the New Jack Swing era, which was, like I said, the score kind of was pretty bouncy and I liked it.
That electronic kind of style.
So I don't know if
I think it works. I think it works for the movie. I think it's overall musically a step down from A View to a Kill, which is kind of like a one of regardless of the movie's quality, is one of my favorite Bond scores.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Aha song is as good as the Duran Duran song, but like it's the same, kind of 80s rock vibe.
Yeah.
And I like it. I think it works. I think it's another case also of just having that one foot in the past. Like maybe they should have gone all the way with like a much more electronic score or something.
Right.
But then the movie would be even more 80s than it already is, and whether or not that's a good thing is up for debate. getting Maurice Binder to do the intro sequence
Yeah.
keeps it rooted. Like that really won't evolve until the Pierce Brosnan era,
Yeah.
embracing the CGI,
Mm-hmm.
But so at the same time, I don't know if I would want it to not be the way that it is. Because if they experimented with something that was like too 80s or too far out, then it might not even be recognizable as Bond. And I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
that's something that they've dipped their toes in and done a lot of consideration into anytime that they've evolved the quote unquote formula for
Mm-hmm.
those different aspects. And I think that's part of why it's always been done so well with evolving the songs and the production. And I guess they just weren't ready, and they would need to have something like that 6 year gap
Yeah.
between 89 and 95 to
Yeah.
really be like, let's reinvent Bond. And they were like, for this, it's really just let's keep on doing Bond and do what we always do, which is to make it hip, to whatever's going on in the scene, and I think it makes it feel older than it actually is, but it also makes it feel classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and now this movie has a tricked out Aston Martin.
Oh yeah.
Um, now the last Bond movie didn't have a tricked out car. I don't remember if the one previously to that had one because it's been a while. Um, but you know,
No,
it,
there wasn't. No fancy car in Octopussy. Just the
yeah.
tuk tuk.
So
The
so if you, you want to say it's been years, if going by the timeline, it's been years since people seen a tricked out, uh, Bond car, and this one definitely had some some cool tricks up its sleeves. I like that whole sequence on the ice.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it, getting the skis up and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. Um, yeah, so I know like the next one is going to be a lot grounded, but uh, as far as this one, I was happy to see that car. It's pretty cool. I must
Yeah,
say.
it's cool. Like the action vibes definitely work really well. There's so much shtick in these movies.
Yeah.
uh, like in A View to a Kill, I rolled my eyes when he stole the guy's car, and the guy's like, "Oh, my car! Oh, you took my car! Oh, what the fuck? Fuck you, my car!" Uh, in so many words, and I'm just like, "Oh my god!" That was my French, by the way.
Okay.
Um, and, and like, there's a little bit of that here, like
Mhm.
when Pushkin's in the not Pushkin, Koskov's in the pipe, going from east to west, and people kind of react to the sound of whatever it is, his little tube going through the pipe.
Yeah.
Just little bits like that, but it's not overdone like it is in a couple of the earlier ones. And in some of the earlier ones, when it's overdone, it's great. And we all
Mhm.
love the Lotus coming out of the ocean in The Spy Who Loved Me, or the whatever it is in Moonraker, or no, For Your Eyes Only, through the ski lodge.
Yeah.
That stuff is great, and it works in the tone of those movies. But that wouldn't work in the tone of this movie. Like it dials it back just enough.
Yeah. For
Not so
sure.
much that it's like the dark and gritty reboot,
Yeah.
but just enough that you
Just
just
enough. Yeah.
like, oh, I recognize that, and you have fun with it.
Yeah. And
Um,
then not too many gadgets in this movie. It's because, like I said, they were trying to scale it back and make it a little bit more realistic, as much as they could at the time. So the
yeah,
tricked
but they
out
still have they
car.
still have fun with it, with the the couch eating the guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the boombox rocket launcher.
Oh my god, they call it the ghetto blaster, and I'm
I'm
like,
like,
I,
yo, when I heard that, I was like, yo, come on now.
uh, I don't. There are zero black people in this movie. No. There's the black CIA lady.
Oh
She's the
yes,
one black
yes,
woman in
yes,
the movie,
yes, yes.
and she is American.
I was like, for the
And it's
ghetto
like,
blast, I was like, come on, bro, what?
Q. You can't say that. Q. No. Q.
Tell you,
Q's
man.
canceled.
That's that. Back in the days, they didn't give a shit, man. They did all types of shit in the 80s. Like, oh my god.
He's like, no, I survived Live and Let Die. Oh, he's not even in Live and Let Die.
No.
Whoa.
But you know what's funny about the title of the movie, Living Daylights? So, you know, back when I was younger, and I have this kind of similar story for License to Kill. Like, License to Kill was sort of the first time I became aware of a Bond, like a character called James Bond. You know, growing up, when I'm hearing about James Bond, License to Kill, right? That was like the only movie I knew about. You know, not realizing that it spawned so many movies, or movies behind it, right? I think that was like the latest Bond movie that was out at the time when I became aware of James Bond, and I thought License to Kill was the only one. But I was aware of the title Living Daylights. But you want to know what's funny? I thought Living Daylights was a horror film at the time when I heard that.
That sounds like it could be the name of a horror film.
Yeah, right? So it's like...
It's always you scared the living daylights out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like... And it was back in the time I'm growing up in Jamaica, and a lot of videotapes are just like, you know, cassettes, and they just write the name of the movie on the front of it. You know, it doesn't have the box art or anything like that. It's like when they just basically put like 3 movies on one tape, right? They just switch that shit to SLP and or you know what I mean. And this is like you can record up to 6 or 8 depending on what kind of tape you get, and have a bunch of movies on there. And at the front of it has the name of the movies on there, and one of them, you know, Living Daylight. I was like, oh, that sounds scary. I'm not watching that one, right? And then it was years later that I found out Living Daylights was an actual Bond movie. I was like, oh, it's a Bond movie. Okay. So yeah, that was my whole experience with Bond. You know, License to Kill being the one that I thought was the only Bond movie before I found out, oh, there's multiple Bonds. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a similar thing, but we'll get to that in a couple more movies.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie, it was great in action. I like the actors and the characters in it. It's just, you know, I felt maybe I was just like dazed over in terms of trying to follow the plot, but like, you know, sometimes I was, you know, because like if I had to try to summarize the plot, Russian general defected to England or UK, whatever, but then he gets taken back. He kidnapped by the KGB and taken back to Moscow. But it turns out, oh, that was all a fake. Why was that a fake again? Did they say? See, now I don't even know. Why did he? What was that whole elaborate thing for? Anyway.
Well, so that he could get rich with Whitaker. To do the, you know, he couldn't do the deal while, you know, in the custody of the West.
Okay, but why? Okay, so, but he left Russia.
And part of his defection, you know, his fake defection was really to put a target on Pushkin's back.
Oh, okay, all right.
And he get Bond himself to kill him.
Got you. And so he didn't go back to Russia. He just basically went to the General Whitaker.
Right, Tangiers, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, who isn't even a general, you know, he was just a mercenary who dropped out of West Point, you know.
Yeah, okay.
And when Bond confronts Pushkin, he says, you know, I was about to arrest Koskov because of misappropriating state funds. So basically, he turned to the West because he was in trouble, but really he did it just to get both sides out of his hair so he could do arms deals with Whitaker. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure if I like watch it again, I'll be able to pick it up. But at the time, I was like, wait, what? Who? Huh? Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the revelations come very matter-of-factly and very like underplayed. A lot of the twists are underplayed.
Yeah. But yeah, so you know, as far as Timothy's movie, 2 movies go, I'm probably thinking it's not his best one. Maybe License to Kill is. I've only seen License to Kill once, so I have to rewatch it and see how I like it. But in your opinion, out of the 2, which one do you think?
I'm gonna save it for
Gotcha.
next week because in my memory, License to Kill is one of my favorites, and Living Daylights is not.
Right.
But having just watched The Living Daylights, I liked it a lot more than I remembered, and I'm wondering if that will still be the case with License to Kill.
Gotcha.
But let's pour one out for Agent Saunders. Pour one out for Agent Saunders. Gets killed by the doors closing in on him.
Oh right, yeah.
Very,
I'm like,
very
Jesus
good scene,
Christ.
very dramatic kill and done very well. And you don't like the guy because you're like, he's a dweeb. He's like the Michael Bay CIA guy, you know.
Yeah.
Like how in every Michael Bay movie there's the agent who's like an ally, but it's just like a dweeb.
Mm-hmm.
But then he like totally redeems himself and he's like, "Hey Bond, you and I are best buddies." And Bond's like, "You know what, Agent Saunders? You and I are best buddies." And then he gets killed like right after. And you're like, "No!" And it's a great little moment for Timothy Dalton getting to be like, "Oh man, as soon as I see that guy, I'm gonna take off my shoe and throw him off a plane."
And there's also a scene. I was like, probably would have gotten an R rating in today's standard, but what's his name? John Rhys Davis character. Oh, Pushkin. You know, his wife or girlfriend, whoever she is.
His mistress.
Yeah, like when Bond rips her robe off. Yeah, Bond rips her robe off, and you basically see some. It's like, wait, whoa, okay, we're not we're not trying to hide that here. Okay, go off.
It was a freer time.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
They said the MPA were like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, right.
But also, shout out to what do they call them? They call them like Green 4 or something. Like my least favorite thing in like these kinds of movies is that every single agent except for the lead character is like a doofus.
Yeah. Like,
you know, like they'll have like John McClane or whatever, and like 20 other cops, and like every other cop will be like just nothing. They'll be nothing. You'll have The Rock where it's Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery, and every single other good guy on the whole island is just like completely inept, and they get killed in one scene.
Yeah.
This movie has one of my favorite scenes where the assassin, Koskov's right hand guy, the Red Grant of the movie, goes and he's sneaking in as the milkman. He kills the guy like Agent 47.
Yeah.
And then he goes to kill another guy, but an agent sees him and is like, "Oh no, I see him! I see him!" And you're like, "Uh-oh, this guy's so dead." But no, they have like a full-on fight scene that like the guy gets knocked out and it's his last scene, but you're like, "Oh, I think he actually survived," and he like kind of kicked the guy's ass. Like they had like a real brawl.
Yeah.
It's actually the best fight scene in the movie.
And they said the actor was a dancer too. They said
the blonde guy. Or
the blonde guy. The blonde guy said that he's a dancer. That was like his first role.
I just love that in this movie that we have an agent who is like competent. It's not like A View to a Kill where Bond's 2 best guys get killed by Grace Jones hiding in the back of their car.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was or not, but it feels like a response to that.
Probably. Yeah. So let's see if it gets better with the Bond movies. I know it does because.
So overall, I think I'm hotter on this movie than you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do like the action sequences and the stunts were pretty dope, especially the scene where the plane is about to crash and they eject the Jeep out and it lands and that scene was like pretty dope.
That was definitely cool.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I also agree. Like, if they at the scripting level had found a way to cut like 15 or so minutes from this movie, it would have been a lot better.
I think was this Michael G. Wilson's first script? Wasn't right?
I don't know. He did co-write it.
Yeah.
Like Richard Maybaum.
Yes. Let me see. Look at his writing. No, he did. For Your Eyes Only. Yeah, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, V to Kill, Living Daylights, and License to Kill. I think those are the only 5 movies he wrote.
Okay.
But yeah, he was
Maybaum. I know that name. Oh,
he wrote a lot of them. Yeah, he wrote a lot of Bond movies. Let's see.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes back to what I've been saying the whole time, which is like, it's only half reboot.
Yeah.
And but even less than that, because it's not a soft reboot in that way. It's just kind of like, it's just more Bond. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, he looks like he wrote all the Bond movies from from Dot to Know all the way to License to Kill. Richard Maybaum.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely that continuity.
Yeah.
Just of tone and style, and exploring within that, but not really drawing outside the lines or pulling it up by the roots, which at some point you need to do. But I think they were just like, we're not at that point. When we need to break glass, in case of emergency, we will do that. But this isn't the time for that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I think we've hampered on this movie long enough, and can't wait to get to License to Kill, which is, like I said, the first time I knew about a Bond movie.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Oh, and just single greatest line in the history of filmmaking is the Mujahideen guys with their guns, and I don't think they have the guns, but they are wearing their outfits and bandoliers, and they say, "We ran into trouble at the airport."
Yeah, I think was it M says, "I wonder," no, RQ. Oh, wonder why or something.
I
like
wonder
that.
why.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
I got a question for you, because I haven't even looked it up. Why does it look like that main dude was pretty much wearing brown face? Like he's not that dark. Maybe he is that dark. I'm just saying. It looked really funny. Like, wait a second, does this motherfucker got brown face on?
Let me see who that actor is, because I didn't recognize him. Let's see, Art Malik. He's a Pakistani British actor.
Okay.
I suppose he could be wearing makeup to make him a little
bit more darker.
But
that looks. No, he was definitely. Oh my God, is he? He's the same guy in True Lies. The same bad guy in True Lies. Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Nah, they definitely painted some shit on him, bro. Like, he does not look that dark. Not even True Lies, which, he does look a lot more Middle Eastern in True Lies, but he looks like they painted that shit on him. Like, oh, he needs a little more brown, put it on him.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, or maybe he just got a tan.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Gotcha. All right. So that was Living Daylight. We have, entered, although it's very short, the era of Timothy Dalton. And let's see how it goes in the next one.
50% through the Dalton years.
Yeah. All right. So, Zach, where can people find your work?
You can read me at GameDaily.com and at TVSquad.com, and catch me on social media. You know my name, just search it.
Nice. And me, you can find me at Instagram and TikTok at Mark Oberidge, and you can, I'll put it in the description below, find my other works, my short film, Are You Still Watching, the comedy series I did on Tubi, I'm a Good Wife, and my comic books, Mana Kingdoms, all in the description below. So, until next time, folks, I want to say peace.
Indeed.